Those leaves are so darn cool, and they pop out like crazy
I know it.
against the hair and against the snakes. That's my favorite part. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Welcome back to Talk Parlor number 13. I'm Adam,
And I'm Jordan.
and this week we got a couple new things going on this week. I think we're going to introduce
sure
a new
do.
segment,
Mhm.
and then jump into what the dice landed on.
Right, yeah.
So, shall we introduce our new segment?
Last week's recap.
Dun dun dun!
Recap.
So yeah, in last week's recap, what we're going to do is we're just going to do exactly that. We're going to recap last week's
Yep.
vote. So, yeah.
We were doing this because last week we were kind of live during the voting process. So we were not able to tell you all who was the winner.
Yeah. And with that being said, we can officially say that it was our very first tie.
Our very first official draw. Each of us the same number of votes, 31 each.
That is crazy.
With a total of 62 votes, breaking our vote record so far.
That's awesome.
The most votes we've gotten.
That's what we'd like to continue to do week after week, is just break our vote record from the week before.
Yes. This was the Burton-esque angel, tattooed on fake skin, black and white color palette, of course. And it was great. You can check out our last week's podcast to hear all about it.
Yeah.
I think that sums up our recap.
I think it does too.
Awesome.
Beautiful. All right. Well, anyway, moving on. For this week's challenge, we had to, I guess the dice, they landed on a neo-traditional Medusa.
Yeah.
In a triadic color palette. And we rolled for our triadic color palette, and we got a yellow, orange, turquoise, and magenta.
Yep.
So we had to arrange our color palettes to suit those three colors. Is there anything I'm forgetting?
Watercolor.
So. Oh, yes, and they had to be done in watercolor.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. So what were your thoughts as we were rolling the dice, or as the dice were granting us these wonderful picks?
I'll be totally honest. I was really, really nervous. I was not excited to do this one. And I kind of just had no idea really what to do. I went a completely different route than what I expected, but it was scary. I was excited until I saw the watercolor. I was not excited for watercolor. The last time we did watercolor, it was on that brownie that we had to do, and it was with the wool pastels, and I just, all the thoughts of doing that challenge came back, and I was not excited for it.
Yes, it just makes me tremble at the thought of having to do that.
Yeah. So that was my initial fear that I had, was like, ugh, watercolors. Okay. Why couldn't we have gotten graphite pencils?
Yeah, something that we've been begging to get.
Right,
They just won't.
yeah.
It's almost like they know that we want it, and they're just not rolling it.
Yep, they know. So that was my first thought, was just, I'm worried to do this. I don't want to do this.
What about the subject matter? I guess actually the subject matter was mythical.
It was Greek mythology.
And then we rolled.
Yeah. We rolled for
which Greek mythology character we were going to do.
And I can't remember all that we had. I think we had a total of 6 on there. We had Medusa. We had Achilles.
Poseidon.
Zeus. A few others.
Yeah, there was a few others.
What were your first thoughts with the dice roll?
Scared.
Yeah.
I mean, I did Atlas, as a graphite pencil drawing, and it turned out pretty freaking cool.
Beautifully.
but Medusa, that was one that I'm like, okay, you're going from, a guy holding the world or the earth over his head, over his
Right.
back, to a lady that's got all these snakes in her hair.
See, I was
And
excited about the Medusa, I just really wasn't excited for the watercolor.
so, when we landed on Greek mythology, that was cool.
Mhm.
Landed on Medusa, that was cool. Landed on the watercolor, I was a little bit scared because
Yeah,
I kind of like you, went back to
the
the
brownie.
the brownie. I don't even like saying the brownie. It's so horrible. Just sends chills up my spine.
It's sinful. Just a
It's,
sinful
it's
challenge.
horrible. Anyway, get the
The
brownie out of
enemy
our head.
itself.
Get the brownie out. So, yeah, it was. I was a little concerned about the watercolor,
Yeah.
and yeah, I will love to get into that one later because man, have my opinions changed.
Right, right.
Um, yeah, it was just I was uncertain. I guess that's the best way to put it. If you
Right.
had to put one
Yeah,
word to it, it was
that's
uncertain.
a good way to explain it. Uncertain. Yeah. Did you do any research to, come up with your concept?
I've done a little bit because my wife, she wants a Medusa tattoo at some point, so I've been kind of looking at ideas and stuff of, what, you know, because she wants me to draw it, and we've come up with a couple conceptual ideas of, what we think looks good. So like one thing that she really likes is the cracks in the face, um, which I dig. Um, the snakes. Man. Here's the thing about snakes. You can get lost in snakes, like because they twist and they turn and
Mm,
they're not all in one direction at the same
mhm.
time. So, uh, doing the research to really kind of see how a snake bends and turns and twists and to make sure that you just want to make sure it looks natural.
Definitely.
So, the research there. And then, last night when we were, trying to, ladies and gentlemen, we really royally screwed up this week
Yeah.
because we procrastinated. I get home at freaking 6 o'clock last night from work, and I hadn't even really. I had my outline, but much past that, I hadn't started. Jordan hadn't started at all.
Not even a little bit.
So we, yeah.
Yeah.
But going back where that got to the research part was you had said something and
Mhm.
about a documentary, putting a documentary on,
Yeah,
and
that's kinda
man, that
what's
was that was really cool to sit there and listen to a documentary, learn some things about Medusa that I was unaware of.
right, yeah, that's what I usually do, and it's kind of nice because I do like listening to music, but I like listening to something that's kind of about these art projects that we're doing a little
Mhm.
bit. For example, the last week's Burton S tattoo. Listened to a documentary on Tim Burton while I did that. Um, and then yeah, and then also it helps me like change my designs a little bit. We can get into the design phase later, but I really, really like it. Um,
Yeah, it
yeah, it's just nice. It's really cool.
well, and I think there's different interpretations to
Mhm.
Medusa.
Oh, there's
You
several
know,
of them.
the particular documentary that I was listening to, stated that there was some unfortunate things that happened to her, uh, and then basically she was found guilty of
Mhm.
doing nothing
Right.
and got blamed for it,
Punished because of jealousy.
punished because of jealousy. Exactly, that's a good way to put it.
Mhm.
Um, as far as changing my design, while listening to it, I was, at that point, I was really too far into it
Right.
to do that. But I could see where, if you're listening to something and you're still in the design phase or you're, kind of working
Yeah.
through how you
Yeah,
want to do
exactly.
something, and it's like, oh, you know what?
Mhm.
I think I'm going to change it a little bit this way or a little bit that way,
Yeah.
because I did some of that with my snakes. It was like, halfway through it, I'm like, you know what? I don't really like the way this is, and I want to add this or I want to change this.
Mhm.
You know, just little subtle details like that.
Right, and then just bouncing off that as well, so, um, I know that, a lot of, people have gotten the Medusa, like, tattoos and stuff before, um, and it's always been for a certain reason. Most of the time, some people just really love Medusa also. But after learning the origin story for Medusa, for um, SA survivors and SA victims, that really Adam and I were on the phone, and that just totally changed our vision that we kind of had for these drawings. And after we heard that, we were just like, let's finish this drawing for all those women, all the men out there as well, but for all the SA survivors. So if you're listening, we really hope that you enjoy these. They're drawn for you, they're made for you, and just thank you for being beautiful and for everything that you do.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely beautiful.
And then so back to the drawing. With listening to this documentary, whenever I have pictured Medusa before, I have always especially in the Hollywood version, of Medusa, I have always seen all of her snakes for hair, just a head of snakes. And I never realized before that she has snakes in her hair, not for her hair. So that was a
That
bit of
is,
research that applied to my design phase, and I changed up a lot of my drawing once hearing that, and I started adding hair rather than the bodies of snakes and stuff that I
I was
had.
gonna say that that is something that is misinterpreted. I think
Mhm.
a lot of people think that it's just a head full has snakes for hair, and it's
Right,
really not. She
right.
actually has hair, very beautiful
Mhm,
hair, which is why the snakes got put there.
mhm.
You know, when you listen to the documentary, it was basically, you know, she had just this beautiful, uh, beautiful hair, and Athena, she didn't like that. She
Yeah,
was jealous.
right, exactly, exactly.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, the
really
research.
a really awesome, origin story character to learn about, you know?
Oh,
It
absolutely.
was really cool learning about her because modern day Medusa, we all think, "Oh, it's just a monster," it's kind of like a siren
When
monster,
she wasn't
and
a
it's
monster
really
at
not.
all.
She wasn't a monster at all. She
She's
was a
very beautiful.
beautiful, beautiful being, um, that super unfortunately, her story is tragic, and she was, a beautiful, figure that never harmed anybody and eventually ended up being used for harm,
Even in fact, you know, she had 2 other sisters,
Yep.
and she was the only immortal one,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she still had that, the her morals to her, and she would oftentimes try to fray away from,
Mhm.
uh, you know, even, like, small animals and
Right.
animals and
Right.
certain people, certain beings that, because she didn't wanna harm them. She was not a mean person.
Exactly, exactly. In my documentary, it was kind of interesting. Um, the narrator said she was a beautiful woman that never harmed anybody while she was alive, turned into a monster to kill thousands or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, because Perseus, cuts off her head and then uses her head to, point it at people and, turn them into stone.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's dive into the design phase. Adam, tell me how you came up with your design.
Like I said,
We kinda touched on it
yeah,
a little
kinda
bit
touched
with,
on a little bit.
research, but
Yeah. Well, like I said, I knew I wanted the correct face. Um, I knew that I wanted, obviously, snakes in there and hair. Um, I just get a little terrified with snakes.
yeah.
Um, Not only because I'm deathly terrified of snakes in life, but, um, so drawing them is a little bit different. But, like I said, you know, if you don't get a twist right or a bend right, or,
Mhm.
you know, this bend is coming in here, so you need to
Right.
have the belly here, you know, there's so many different facets of a snake. And if you don't get it right, then it can really mess things up. And I thought about putting more snakes in there, but I'm like, man, more snakes means more chance for mess up. And I felt like I could get the same effect by pulling her way forward,
Yeah.
taking up the majority of the frame and intertwining these snakes within her hair and really kind of like I told you last night, I kind of cheated a little bit because I pulled her forward and that meant having to do less snakes and really highlight the three that are there. I was able to
Yeah, I was
spend
gonna
a lot of
say
time on those
right,
three
right. I was gonna say it
versus
also means that those 3 snakes better look great. You know what I
exactly,
mean?
exactly. And then, the flowers at the top, I wasn't quite sure if I wanted them. I put them in there as kind of one of the things. Well, if I don't decide that I like them, I can always just
Mhm.
throw a snake in there.
And it's a very, like, grease feel too with
Hmm.
those I don't know what those leaves are called or the crowns.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very,
Greek.
very good
Yeah.
design. Yeah.
And then let's see here. The necklace. I just thought it was cool. Brings your eyes more to the bottom, gives you something
Right.
more to look at.
Yeah, that was a good
Yeah.
call also.
When I started coloring with the watercolors, I was really afraid of the hair and the snakes being too close to each other in color, but I think I did a good job. I'll kind of get into that with like challenges with the medium later on, but how I achieved that. Um, and then the yellow, when I did the yellow up here, the yellow orange, sorry, I was just kind of totally taken back by what you could pull off with watercolor.
Mhm.
And when I started putting it in up here and getting the background in black, which some we discussed together
Yeah,
doing,
yeah.
which I love the idea because it really pushed everything forward.
Mhm.
Um, but when I put the yellow in up here, I really didn't have much going on down here that was going to be yellow. And so I was like, you know what? I need to turn some of these snakes so that they have the bellies and the necklace I knew was going to be a great spot to put the yellow in,
Mhm.
and that allowed me to pull the yellow from the top through to the bottom.
And that's so important. That's so important with design. Um, just keeping everything not really equal, but complementary to each other.
Correct. Yeah.
Having the yellow orange at the top and the yellow orange at the bottom almost gives her beautiful face kind of that framework. You know,
Right.
you're pulled to the center, which I think is very, very important for drawing.
Well, and what's wild is that it's the yellow against the green with the magenta. I mean, I was so concerned about that color palette,
Yeah.
and I was just so shocked at how well
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
complement each other.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it is
think
wild.
I think what really helps break up that the color between your hair and your snakes is the use of the leaves. I think that
Yeah,
really helps push some more contrast in that area. Just overall a great design decision right there.
yeah. Being in neo-traditional, American traditional style, I knew I wanted the heavy, heavy outlines.
Mhm.
Neo-traditional really plays more on line weights, so you have a little more freedom with line
Mhm.
weights. You got heavy, you got thin, you can really have freedom with line weights. So, um, that was something else. I just um, really wanted to play with the line weights, but knowing that we only had three colors to work with kind of puts you more back towards that American traditional. So I would say
Right.
this is a happy medium between American
Yeah.
traditional and
Yeah.
neo
Happy
traditional.
medium. Mhm.
So what about you on your design phase?
So it was kind of funny. Last night, Adam had called me as soon as I was starting. As soon as I had sat down in my office, sat down at my desk, had my paper up, had just grabbed a pencil, Adam calls me, and I was like, "Hey, I'm just now getting started." And in my head, I was just thinking, I'm gonna throw down the simplest, Medusa, American traditional thing,
Sorry.
and just, I should be done with it in like 4 hours, and then I can go to bed. Um, Adam sends me a picture of his beautiful, incredible drawing, and I was like, "Jordan, you need to step it up." And so I was just completely taken back to the drawing board. I had a concept in my head, and I crumbled that up, threw that in the trash. I was like, "Adam, I gotta go." And um, I just scrolled on Google for a minute, just trying to find some sort of really cool idea, and then I saw a tattoo that I really took a lot of inspiration from, and I kind of made my own version of that tattoo. The tattoo that I saw, it had a lot of flowers and stuff in it, around her face, and I thought that was neat, but for pressed for time, I was like, "Let me just get rid of those, and let me just go to town here." Um, and then while listening to the documentary, I started adding more hair, and I really liked that. Just as this is kinda something that I've noticed that I do with a lot of my drawings is I do like to add a hairpiece, or kinda just something at the top of the head that is some sort of figure to look at.
Mhm.
I noticed that I did that in my Shintoism drawing too, and I just like
Mhm.
it. I just like it, and I it's something that I always do. And I really like the I don't know why I put it there, I just love it. I just, wanted kind of some filler space there on the head, and I think it worked really well. I love how I did her eyes. I wanted her to read as beautiful, I wanted her to read as fierce. I didn't get crazy with the eyelashes, I really thought about adding more, but I just wanted to
I
keep it simple
I
and
think it's
informed.
perfect.
Thank you very, very much. The snakes, I feel like I got kinda crazy with, but I also feel like it works, because so I wanted the snakes to be coming down and around, and I really wanted their bodies to just frame all around her and kind of make it look like a good flash piece, you know?
Mhm.
And I I just really wanted to emphasize it coming from her head. They're in there, they're all around there. They are a part of her, but she does have her beauty still shining through. I also really like how I did her lips as well. They're kind of big and voluptuous. And I like that a lot. Yeah, it overall, it's just a cool design. Once I started putting it on paper and I just kinda started with the face and just started working out from there and really, really liked it. I'm also really happy with my scale choice. I think that my scales for the snakes turned out pretty neat. They all flow, well together. I love that I was able to show direction with them, and I
Mhm.
liked that a lot. And that's about all I got for my design. I I once I drew it, I was just like, "Oh, Jordan, there you go. You locked in."
Yeah.
And we drew.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Well,
Hmm. And then absolutely love I was on the phone with Adam and I was like, "Adam, we should black out our backgrounds."
yeah, because I had a totally
Man.
different thought for backgrounds, and
Yeah.
when she said that, I was like looking at the colors, and she's like, "I think we should black out our backgrounds." I'm like, 2 seconds after she said it, I had
Yep.
pen in my hand, and I was
Yeah.
going to town. I'm like, "This is either gonna look great or it's gonna just
Oh,
totally tank it,"
man.
and
It brings it all forward. It was
because
such a good,
she was
just technical
yeah,
touch.
she was still drawing.
Yeah.
I was already painting, and she said, "We need to black out the backgrounds," and I blacked out my background
Yep.
and took a quick photo of it and sent it to her, and it was like, "Yep, that's exactly what we're gonna
Yeah.
do."
It ended up taking me 12 hours.
12 hours?
I was sitting upstairs for 12 hours.
I think I have about
Well, I took about an hour break, so it's me and
right.
yeah,
I think I have probably I said 8.5 last night, but I think it's probably closer to
I think it's
10.
probably closer to 10 for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Um, moving on to likes, I'll kick it off with likes. Everything,
Yeah, yep,
everything. Love everything about it. Um, I was unsure of a lot going into it, coming out of it. unsure of nothing, love everything.
I
I
love
mean,
the snakes. Those snakes, guys, if you get the opportunity, and if you're just listening to our podcast and you don't really check us out on Facebook or Instagram, take a look at Adam's snakes because God bless America. Those things are blended so well and they look so darn good.
they look real, do they
Yeah,
not?
yeah,
I
they
mean, they do.
do.
And that's something that I just I want to take the time to really point out that I had never been able to do this 12 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, in all honesty, I'd have never been able to do this 12 weeks ago.
Yeah, imagine if this was our first challenge, you know?
Oh my goodness. And even you, I don't,
No way.
you don't
No
think
way.
so?
Nope. Nope. I don't think I would have had because lately we've just been drawing, you know? We've been drawing, and that's something that I noticed about myself this week is that even though I started this, so many hours ago now and finally finished it way early this morning, throughout the week, I was just drawing, just having a great time. I drew this really cool goblin. And Adam has drawn other things throughout the week too. And it's just so nice that like getting back in tune and practicing our talents and just working on that technical application with everything. And that's what I have found to be really, really important with art is yes, drawing is really, really good, but what are those touches that you can put into it to bring it together, to make it one full cohesive piece,
Right.
top, middle, bottom, what enframes it, what captures it, what is captivating about it. And that is what I feel like has just got me so excited that I've really been diving back into lately. And I love it.
Well,
Absolutely love it.
and I think that the other thing that I like about this is I feel like I could take this to a tattoo shop and say, I drew this, I painted it, I want this somewhere on my body.
Oh, for sure.
And I think they're gonna just be able to whip up a stencil for it and be able to crank that out.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty is it technical? Yeah, it's
Mhm.
very technical,
Yeah.
but I learned a lot working with these watercolors last
Mhm.
night. And by gosh, I tell you what, if there's one thing I learned the most of, it is how much I love watercolor. Because prior to
Wild
this
work.
and prior to the challenge we really dislike talking about, um, my experience with watercolor was the Crayola stuff that you get in elementary school, and
Yeah.
you dip the water
Right.
in the
Right.
little circle of paint, and then you put it
Yeah.
on your coloring book. And yeah, there is a whole vast wide world
Mhm.
to watercolors and what you can do with them. And I think the more we work with them, the better. I think these could still even be elevated.
Right.
I think
Right.
it's just a matter of understanding and learning how to work with them. But
Yeah.
man, I tell you what, there's just nothing that I love everything
Good.
about this. What
Good.
about you? Your likes?
I really love my eyes. Like I mentioned before, if you go on our Facebook page, Parlor number 13, you can really zoom in and see what we're talking about here. With my eyes, they are white, but I added just the subtlest shade of turquoise around the eye, which really pushes that white forward. I love the direction of my scales on my snakes. I love my snake heads, but I also hate them because I wish that they looked like atoms. Um, but I ended up really loving this drawing, and there's not a whole lot that I hate about it. What were some things that you found challenging, Adam, that you had to overcome?
Oh goodness. So challenges. Um, I wouldn't say it was a challenge. It was just being conscientious about certain things. Like I said, the snakes, the bends, the twists, the turns.
Mhm.
The scales. You know, I thought about doing that perfect scale, like kind of like what you've got. It's perfect. Everyone is meticulously placed. They're symmetrical to each other. And I was just like, I don't know that I like that for this.
Mhm.
I like that everyone is different.
Yeah, and I think it really works very well on the top of your heads with the snakes.
Um, so that was kind of a challenge, just kind of coming up. I don't want to say my own version of
Mhm.
scales, but you know, it's different than what you would normally see.
Right.
Um, more other challenges. Her face, I kind of struggled with her face a little bit. Not drawing it. When I drew it, I loved. I mean, it was great. But when I went to go paint it, I think, of course, it was at my goodness, 1:30, 2 o'clock this morning,
Mhm.
and I was tired. So
Yeah, and you're not a 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning guy.
no, I'm usually
Yeah.
about like a 9 o'clock,
Right.
9, 10. Try to be in bed. Um, Other challenges, man, I really don't think I had many. I will say this, that I did have to learn. Um, this was the first snake that I had painted, and I just had to understand that with watercolor, when it looks like it's dry, it's not necessarily dry, and you can still bleed.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I don't know. I mean, as far as the drawing itself, I just didn't feel like I struggled much with the drawing. A lot of my challenges were within the medium itself.
Yeah, same here, same here.
Um, which I mean, we could jump into medium challenges real quick. Because do you have anything that you dislike about yours before we go too far?
Oh, dislikes? I don't think so. I really like all of it.
I mean, my only dislike I have with her is her face around her nose, but that goes back more to medium challenges.
I wish that, I could have highlighted the bridge of my nose a bit more. I did want that to be lighter, and I wanted her cheekbones to be lighter, but I just kind of accidentally had too much color
Right.
and just, but she still looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Working with watercolors, what did you think?
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Really?
Um, no, no, it's kinda cool. It's cool. It's cool. Uh, I am just such a stickler for graphite pencils, and one of these days, we're gonna be blessed with graphite pencils, and we're gonna get to draw for you guys with graphite pencils. One day, you guys are gonna see us draw with graphite pencils, and that's gonna be really cool. But in the meantime, we're gonna try every medium on Earth before we can get to graphite
For me,
pencils.
the graphite pencils, exactly.
That's right. The watercolor was cool. I really learned a lot about it. I feel like
Do
I
you,
enjoyed. Go ahead.
do you feel like watercolors are on the same spectrum right now as colored pencils were back at week 1?
Yeah.
So you think the more you work with them, the more you'll like it?
Right, right, because I just need to learn with
Right.
them, you know? I really just cannot stand how some of my areas bled into the other, and they're not noticeable off the rip whenever you're looking at it, but then you zoom in, then
Okay.
you actually pay attention, and my gosh, did I have to cover some areas with some sort of technique to make it look better.
But let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Let's go back and let's be adults and let's start on it earlier. Would you
Yep,
have encountered those same
exactly.
problems because you
Right.
could have put certain things in and been like, okay, I'm going to let this dry?
You are exactly right. Yeah. Let's be adults. Let's get, let's start on the outline day 2. Let's start on, this color day 3. Yeah, yeah. That would have been awesome
Mm.
in a perfect week. But also like sometimes just life happens, you
Well, it
know.
does. It
I
does.
will say confirmed that I think that what day we do these Wednesday.
Mhm.
Thursday and Friday. So I worked and I just kind of took some time
Well, I mean,
to
you
like
always
spend
got
at
to,
home,
yeah, you,
Yeah. And then I did some overtime over the weekend and I was like, gosh, dang, I really wish I could work on my drawing. And then Monday came up and I was just so busy, just something happened, you know? And then finally Tuesday comes around and I'm like, I literally have not started. And then Adam sends me this beautiful picture, which prevents me from being lazy and drawing an awful picture. And I was like, Jordan, you've got to step up your game. You have to do something. So I look like I rolled out of bed today. Um, which
She just hasn't been to
which
sleep.
actually, yeah, I actually didn't roll out of bed. I
She just hasn't been to sleep. She's well, she's
right?
yeah.
Just haven't been to sleep yet. And going to be rolling in bed after this. So yeah, just I really love everything about it. Those challenges were for me with the medium. Um
My
so
medium challenges, I so here's what I'll say. I was scared to death at first because it's watercolor, it's paint, it's once you go
mhm.
on, it's not coming off. You
Yeah,
can't
and
erase it.
really quick, I actually got some specks on her face last night because I had the a brush in my mouth while I was like doing
Uh-huh.
something and it dropped out of my mouth and I just see it in like slow motion like and it landed right on her face. You can see it right there.
Oh,
Right there.
yep, sure
And
enough.
I was trying so hard to buff out these specks, man. I was like, "I'm gonna have to start over. This is awful. I have to start over." No, there's no
Yeah,
way. There's
no.
no way. I'd just not be getting finished if I had started over, you know?
Yeah. Uh, what I will say about watercolors is, um, I absolutely freaking fell in love with them. They are amazing. They blend very well once you
Mhm.
understand how to blend them, and you can get different effects from them. And what I mean by that is, I was scared to death that my snakes and my hair were going to turn into the same color. And what I
Yeah,
learned is if you lay down whatever color you laid down first, that's the color that's going to come through. That is the
yeah.
prominent color that's going to come through. So, like on the hair, I laid the blue down first, put the green over the top of it, the blue come through.
This is to make turquoise
This is to make
for
turquoise because
the challenge.
we didn't have the
Mhm,
turquoise. And then on the snakes, I laid the green down first, then I laid the blue on top,
mhm.
pulling the green forward. It was very weird. I had to practice multiple times on another sheet of paper to understand what it was that they were going to do when you put them in certain layers. Magenta, that was another one that was difficult for me because it was actually put down purple, put down pink, and then put down red,
Mhm.
and that gave me what I felt like maybe not quite as magenta. I mean, everybody has a different concept of what magenta is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you look up what turquoise is on the internet. There's so many different
Yeah,
turquoise. You look up magenta, same thing, likewise, you know,
yeah.
just
So I got close to what I looked up, and I was happy with that. Um, I just fell in love with watercolors. I mean, I cannot wait to do another watercolor painting. To be honest with you, I
I'm
mean,
so happy
I
for you.
freaking, I freaking just and 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 it happened very early on.
Yeah, it
Like
did.
when I fell in
Adam's
love
just
with
so
it,
excited on the phone, and I'm just sitting there stressing. My palms are sweating just trying to draw this really neat drawing.
yeah, and I'm like putting in the yellow in these flowers, and I'm like, I'm on the phone with Jordan. I'm like, oh, oh my god, you, this is so freaking cool. I I got to take a picture and send it to you.
Yeah, yeah, which made my palms sweat even more.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking awesome.
It was so cool.
And the way it just, I mean, I just once I understood. That was
Yeah.
the big challenge, understanding how they actually work.
Man, I tell you what, those leaves are so darn cool and they pop out like crazy
I know it.
against the hair and against
I
the
know it.
snakes. That's my favorite part. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
That's a good question. What's your favorite part about your piece? What's your
Man,
number one favorite part? Whenever you look at it, what do you look at first? It's like, I like that part.
I can't pick the entire thing.
No, you can. I picked that one spot.
You suck.
Yeah.
I don't know. The leaves are cool. I love the leaves. My 2 lower snakeheads are awesome.
I think it's the top of that snakehead right there for me.
The cracks in the face, beautiful. I
She's
just
beauty.
I just don't know how
She's
to pick one
gorgeous.
thing. What about you? If you could pick one thing.
I love her eyes and that snakehead right there.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
I love the whole thing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll say this right now,
I
I think you're walking away with the win.
I think it comes down to preference as always, but Adam, I gotta tell you, I am very proud of this drawing. Like
Oh,
I had no idea that I could like look at something and just kind of piece my own like bit of it that is
Isn't
this
that cool though?
style.
Isn't
Yeah,
that cool?
yeah,
When you get to the point where you're just you have something you're using for inspiration
mhm,
and then you make it your own.
yeah, and it was just a blurry freaking picture too, you
Yeah.
know? It was like a screenshot from a TikTok that was on Google, and it was a whole leg piece, and it was so different than mine, and I was just like, just going to town, letting it cook, and I'm so proud of this drawing. I really love the drawing.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
awesome. I
Thank you
really do.
so
I think they
much.
both turned out so amazing.
Man, I am so impressed with how we took it this week, you know?
Yeah.
I and also one thing that is so cool too is that last night, we were both just power hours trying to get this done. And we were on the phone nearly the whole time,
Oh yes.
just collaborating with each
I was
other.
gonna bring that up.
Yeah, bouncing back and forth off of each
Hmm.
other. And I was telling Adam, I was like, it's something that I don't even want to put up for a vote because, like, there's a little bit of us in each piece, you
Yeah.
know? Like, we both did these, together in completely different areas. But there's ideas that I have in this piece, there's ideas that Adam has in this piece. And it was so awesome. Like, if it wasn't for Adam, I wouldn't have painted this that well, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It it was we collaborated more on this one challenge than we have any other challenge, and
Hmm.
I hope we continue to do that
Yeah,
going
me
forward
too.
because
Me too. Right.
it's made a difference. I mean, it really has, and it's elevated it. You know, just like
Right.
you said in the very
It
beginning.
kinda made these more personal for
Yeah,
us.
like you
Yeah.
said in the beginning, you were, not to take this wrong or out of
Mhm.
perspective, but you were going to take the lazy way out.
I was
And
such the lazy
there's
way out.
nothing wrong with that.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. When you're pushed
Sometimes
for time,
right.
when life happens and you're pushed for time, you got to work overtime at work, and you got to do this, you got to do that, and go to football
Mhm.
games, and you know all
Yeah.
this other stuff that goes on throughout the week, and then you're still working and you're still trying to do everything
Mhm.
else, and you still want to find just
Yeah.
X number of hours. When you sit down and you think about it, it's like you got 11, 12 hours in it. I got 10, 11 hours in it.
Yeah.
And you think about that, and it's like, well, that's really not that much time from.
Sit down for 12 hours in the day, though, at your desk. Tell me that's not a lot of time,
Right, but,
you know?
it's like it doesn't sound like overall that's a lot of time,
Right.
but and you're right, it's not when you can do it, an hour here or 2 hours
Mhm.
there or 3 hours there, but when you
Yeah.
have to crank it all out at one time, it's
Mhm.
like, man, it m so, again, just collaborating, you know, like Jordan said, my ideas are in that piece.
Yeah.
Jordan's ideas are in this piece. You know, as simple as, like she said, the coloring in hers, the punching in black into the cracks to just give them that much more depth
Mhm.
made all the difference in the world. Um, there's other things that she had suggested. The blacking out the
Yeah.
background. So, I really hope that we focus on collaboration
Collaborating.
and collaborate
Yeah.
more because it really truly made this
And it's
a
something that
much a much,
like team,
yeah,
just kinda
yeah,
like teamwork for each other.
yeah,
Yeah, really working together, and we never work against each
and
other,
and
but this time we really worked together,
and
and
I
that was
think
so cool.
I honestly think that kinda kicked off last week with our challenge last week by saying, "Look, we're gonna do the same thing.
Yep.
We're
Yeah,
gonna do the exact same thing."
yeah,
And how difficult that was that? And the
right.
comments that we got were, "How do we
Awesome.
even pick?
Yeah, yeah,
Which one do you pick?
right.
Why are you doing this
It
to
just
us?"
shows that we work better together, and then both of us, 2 minds is better than 1, and just putting more, thought and more detail and just bringing all these technical applications that we bring to the table and then bring it to life more and more and more with the
Yeah.
2 of us talking about it.
And I think that's what our end goal is to put up 2 pieces that is very difficult for you guys to
Mhm.
pick.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what makes it fun
Exactly.
for
Yep.
me. I'm sure it's what makes
Yep.
it fun for
Same
you.
here.
Um, but, you got 2 very solid pieces that meet the challenge. Um, I mean, that couldn't have been done any better.
Mhm.
Uh, are there things that we'd change about each of them? Absolutely. but for the most part, they
They're
are pretty
beautiful.
freaking
Yeah, they
awesome
are.
pieces.
I'm
I mean,
excited to put it in the portfolio.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. What do you think?
I think we're all good here. I think we touched on everything and then even more.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, guys, be sure to follow us on Facebook at Parlor Number 13, as well as on Instagram and Talk Parlor Number 13 on YouTube and all your popular podcast platforms.
Mhm.
Um, don't forget to get on there today at 5 o'clock. Vote. Just get on there and vote, vote, vote. Let's break that 60.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
actually, let's break the 62. I'd like to see 65, 66,
That would be awesome.
67.
Yeah.
If we could hit 70, that would be even better.
Yep.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you put your comments down there.
And we love the interaction. We go through and we read every single comment. Even if it's a critique on something that you didn't like or tell us something that you did like, we really love the interaction. We're always ready to learn and take in more information. And we only have our eyes. We want to know what you guys see and what you guys like, what appeals to you and what doesn't. So just let us know, because we love the interaction and we will reply to you and talk to you.
Absolutely. And always keep the creativity flowing. Let your inspiration soar. Together, we create, we inspire, we transform art into a journey.
A journey.
And we will see you tonight at 5 o'clock for the vote.
Correct.
And as always,
Be safe.